But okay, let's start. All right, there's somebody I want to ask you about. We didn't talk about him last week. When I got to town, there was somebody who I was really kind of in awe of, but I was always too shy to go up and say hello, and it's stupid, really, because I know he's a very approachable guy. And, it's sad because we come up around a lot of the old people who one time were young musicians themselves, learning from
That's
their
right. That's
grandparents'
right.
generation. And so one time I actually met Danny Barker at New
Wow.
Orleans airport,
Yeah.
and I was able to shake his hand, and I got a chill down my spine because I'm shaking the same hand that shook Jelly Roll Morton's hand.
That's right, man. Danny Barker was a phenomenal individual. Was a great person. And for those of you who don't know, he's from New Orleans, right here in New Orleans, Louisiana. He went to New York around 1930, and he did play with Jelly Roll Morton. He played
Yeah,
with,
Cap
played with
Calloway.
Cab Calloway.
Yeah,
He played with Billy Eckstine. He played with
I didn't know that.
so
Wow.
many people,
Yeah.
in New York on the New York scene, and he and the bass player, what they call him, the judge. Uh, I can't call his name. The bass player. He's
From here?
no from
Oh,
New York. Anyway, they called him the judge. That was his nickname. I
yeah.
called it Milt Hinton.
Oh,
Milt
okay.
Hinton.
Oh,
Milt Hinton. Yeah.
I didn't know
So
that was his
yeah, so
nickname. Yeah.
they were all buddies and all good partners, and so after Danny Barker spent about 40 years or so in New York area, he decided to come back home to New Orleans, and when he did, he was at a church called the Fairview Baptist Church.
Is that in Treme?
That's in that's right off right. No, it's not in Treme. It's in Saint Bernard, about right off of Saint Bernard. I forgot the with that pilot land they call that back there.
What do they
Anyway,
call it?
pilot land.
Really? I
Yeah,
never
yeah,
heard
yeah.
that
That's
before.
that's back back Saint Bernard, just on the other side
Yeah.
of Gentilly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Politland.
yeah, pilot land. So
Wow.
so
That's something new.
yeah. So anyway, so he was at this church, and the pastor asked him to form a youth band,
Mm.
and so Danny, I guess he heard Leroy Jones practicing it, because
Yeah.
Leroy lived around the corner from him,
Oh.
you know, and so he heard Leroy Jones practicing. Leroy must have been about 11 or 12 years old. Was practicing the trumpet, and so he got with Leroy, and they formed the Fairview Baptist Church Christian Band, and so this band was a brass band of all children,
Yeah.
and from the age of I would say 8 to 18, and anybody who had a horn or a drum or whatever, you was welcome to join into the procession and be a part of the band. And I was very fortunate, this is during my days of playing the trumpet. I was very fortunate to be a part of that band, and so Mr. Barker was very influential on us, and that was the time. During that time, most there wasn't any kids who were playing kind of brass band, traditional brass band music,
Yes.
and so from the Fairview band, it spun off to be the Hurricane Brass Band with Leroy, and then from there, then Dirty Dozen was formed right after
Uh-huh.
that, and then so now we have so many different brass bands, and I think a lot of that was sparked by Mr. Barker, by his
Yeah.
vision for having putting young people together and keeping the tradition of New Orleans brass band music alive.